Well, it is the third day of the Africa Aero Show taking place at the Waterkloof Air Force Base in Pretoria. We now cross over to Patricia Visagie. She's been covering it for us. And let's say a very good morning to her, find out what happened yesterday and, of course, what to expect today. Patricia, good morning to you.
Good morning, Leanne. Of course, as you said, the third day, of course, of the Africa Aero Show.
Take carousel cross to morning live, if that's okay with you.
A very good morning to all the viewers of Morning Live. This is the South African Air Force Aerobatic Display Team, the Silver Falcons. Just done a display at the African Aerospace and Defence Expo 2016. Such a privilege for us to be here, to be able to display in front of these wonderful people, and especially to be able to bring on this wonderful event to the viewers of South Africa. Hello South Africa, my name is Major James Wilcox, number 2 for the Silver Falcons. I'm glad we could wake you up with a lovely show, and a big shout out to my family and friends who traveled out from morning to the viewers of Morning Live. Seafood tongue on the Falcon number 3. A very good morning to everybody. Hello, it's for South Africa. Great to have you watching our show. I'd like to give a shout out to our ground liaison officer and our Eco Flight pilots for all the hard work they do for us during this week. Cheers.
Good morning and a warm welcome to the third day of course, the Africa Aerospace and Defence exhibition here at the Waterkloof Air Force Base in the heart of Pretoria. Of course, we continue with our broadcast of Africa's biggest defence exhibition that's happening here, and we continue to talk to all the role players and stakeholders that are here, but most importantly also the pilots, of course, that are behind all the big aircrafts that are giving us those great shows here, of course, in the sky. And one of the pilots that, of course, we had in conversation this morning was, of course, Major Mark Gentle, and the chief commentator here at, of course, the Africa Aerospace and Defence exhibition, and that is, of course, Brian Eminis, and he was in conversation with Major Gentle. So let's go to that interview and hear what exactly that it is that they were talking about this morning.
Welcome to Africa Aerospace and Defence, day number 3 here at the Waterkloof Air Force Base. Today I'm joined by the leader of team number 80 of the Silver Falcons, none other than Major Mark Gentles. Mark, you're often referred to as the leader of the cockpit ambassadors for the South African Air Force. That's a huge title. Tell me a little bit about the Silver Falcons.
Morning, Brian. Yes, the Silver Falcons are the aerobatic display team of the South African Air Force, and our job is to show the public what their taxpayer money is going into, the capabilities of the Air Force, but not only the capabilities of the pilot, capabilities of the ground crew, aircraft maintenance guys, armourers, everyone involved in the South African Air Force.
This is a very close-knit team and is regarded as the elite. How are you selected?
Brian, it's quite an extensive selection process. To be eligible to become a Silver Falcon, you have to first of all be an instructor. So you will go down to Central Flying School in Langebaan, complete your instructor's course. Once you've done your instructor's course, you then apply for one of the positions. You do quite a nerve-wracking fly-off involving some formation aerobatics the first time you've ever done that, and then there's also a paper selection, and at the end we choose the best candidate, and he or she then becomes a member of the team.
There are many youngsters in the crowd that stand and watch you in awe, and many of them have gone on to become pilots. That must be pretty inspiring for you guys.
Well, Brian, I used to be the little 5-year-old running around with the autograph book, pestering the pilots for the autograph. So very definitely what we do is we inspire the youth of the nation, the young people. We show them what is possible, and we also show them that with a little bit of hard work and perseverance, you can eventually one day get there.
Now you have been chosen to lead Team 80, a team that has written itself well and truly into the history books. Why?
Well, we're very fortunate in Team 80. We've managed to get our representativity correct. We've got the second lady pilot in the Silver Falcons. We're also very fortunate to have Sivu Tongana and Oji Motluani in the team. So yes, Team 80, truly representative of South Africa.
Mark, you perform numerous maneuvers. Which is the most difficult one for you?
Brian, as leader, I think the first loop that we do is always the most difficult. It's the first one that the team get, the first one where we set the pace for the show. So yeah, it's always nerve-wracking as you're running in. You hope you're going to hit your base. You hope you're going to get your speed. For me, definitely the loop. I know for the soloist, things like the spin are difficult, Chinese loop, but all of them have got their own difficulties, their own intricacies.
Your show not only starts up in the air when you bring the team in at a speed of 555 kilometers per hour, but it actually starts on the ground.
Yes, Brian. Any flight starts many hours before we actually get into the air with the preparation, all the paperwork, pre-flights on the aircraft, planning the display, working out our display area, seeing where we're going to be, taking into account where the people in the crowd are standing. So, yeah, when the crowd see us running in for the 20 minutes of our display, there's been a couple of hours of work before that. The ground crew have been there early in the morning prepping the aircraft. And then when we finish, there's a couple of hours of work afterwards, putting all the airplanes to bed. And as I say, the sortie only finishes once the paperwork's done.
You've also had the opportunity to fly with many of the big aircraft on their wing, from the A340 to the C-17 Globemaster. That must be pretty daunting.
It's something that you never really get used to. You get airborne and you see this little speck over there, and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and eventually you're this tiny little midget next to this giant. It's an amazing opportunity, and the Silver Falcons are one of the few aerobatic teams in the world that get the opportunity to do that.
Probably diverse, because you don't only fly with military but also with civilian.
I think it speaks wonders about the capabilities of the team that people like SA are willing to let us fly next to the aircraft, and it's great publicity for both the Air Force and the Airways.
Well, that is Major Mark Gentles, leader of team number 80 of the Silver Falcons. It's now back to Patricia.
So we continue with our coverage here at the 2016 AAD, and we'll continue throughout the day to bring you interesting interviews with all the role players that are present here and all the people that are exhibiting from, of course, across the world. The globe is here in Pretoria for this week until Sunday, and later in the program we'll also be speaking to people who have interest in rhino protection, and we'll be speaking to Director Scott Williams. He is part of the Rhino 911 team, and they'll be unpacking to us exactly what their project entails and what other mechanisms they have in place to protect one of South Africa's most endangered species, the rhino. But of course, we continue with our work here on the ground. We speak all things aviation and of course defense right here from the heart of the Waterkloof Air Force Base. For now, it is back to you in the studio, Leanne.